need is a title. I was thinking along the lines of no TV and no beer make Homer something something.
Go crazy?
Don't mind if I do!
Hello, listeners. It is I, Dino. Welcome to the 2.5 Gays Spooktacular Podcast. Ooh.
Welcome back to another episode of 2.5 Gays, an all-inclusive podcast for the everyday millennial queen. Guess who's back?
It's JJ, bitch.
Yes, I'm back. I am back after taking a nice, long break.
How are you feeling, JJ?
I want to say rejuvenated, but that is a lie. I feel less energetic than ever.
You're a dried apricot.
Dino, how are you doing?
Dino's good. By the time this episode comes out, Dino will have written and published an article.
Why is Dino referring to himself as Dino?
He's clinically insane.
He's just feeling third person today, so for the rest of the episode, he's going to refer to himself as Dino from now on.
So has Dino's ego grown because he's written an article?
So big, so big.
I can tell. And what is this article about?
It's about horror movie tourism. You know how there are film locations for horror movies?
Yes.
People go there. They travel sometimes thousands of kilometers just to go visit it. And they've set up, over the last couple of years, they've set up tour groups now where you can go and see the house where Mike Myers killed a bunch of people. Or Texas Chainsaw Massacre Place is now a barbecue restaurant. Things like that.
That's so cool.
It's so cool.
I wouldn't eat there, but...
By the time this comes out, hopefully it is also out.
Yeah, that's cool. Double feature.
How about you, Quinlan? How have you been?
I've been good. I've just been, you know how 2 episodes ago I said that I've been editing. I'm still editing.
No character progression.
No character progression.
But how is the editing going?
Frustrating, but it is really cool to be editing a feature film that's going to be in film festivals and stuff.
Nice.
It's a horror movie as well, so it matches this theme.
So your name will be in the credits then?
I'm assistant editor. How cool is that? It sounds so official.
It is official.
Yeah, I know.
You're not doing it shadily on the side.
But you know,
have been
whenever
hired.
you do work, it doesn't really feel like it's official, but...
Yeah. Good on you, though, Quinlan.
Thank you. I should probably mention the film. I don't know if I can yet, but maybe stay tuned for next episode to find out what the film is.
But JJ, you seem to be in good spirits at least.
The spookiest of spirits?
Why would you say that?
As today is Halloween.
Yay! The spookiest of seasons, the creepiest of months. Are we feeling spooky this season?
I don't think I feel spooky until the week of Halloween, because it's not as big in Australia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
JJ, you never feel spooky, do you?
Just on the inside. We're all a little bit spooky on the inside.
And Quinlan, can you give us some history on Halloween?
Yeah. So I was looking into the background of Halloween, where it came from, because it's basically just Americanized now. And it's actually Irish, and it comes from the Celtic group of people. Basically, I think Halloween originally started on the 1st of November, because that is when winter starts, I think, in Europe. Back then, they didn't have heating and proper housing. So they saw the start of winter as kind of where lots of people die, basically. It was very it was a very grim time. So they do a ritual where they have massive bonfires, they sacrifice animals and crops to the bonfire to warn off the evil spirit, basically cleanse the land. And then the day after, they'll start doing all the crops again, and they'll relight their lanterns so then they can keep their houses safe. And I think the dressing up came from them just warning off the bad spirits, and that's where the dressing up comes from. That's where Halloween comes from, guys.
I learned so much today.
I'm glad.
So this is State of the Gay, everyone. This is where we discuss the news and what's going on,
Pop culture.
especially in this spooky season. JJ, do you have any spooky news for us?
It is not often where the stars, the moon, and the universe all comes together in one beautiful nugget of tasty entertainment. But today it has, my dear friends.
Tell us, JJ.
The beloved TV series, Simpsons,
Whew.
have their 666th episode. Correct, you heard that, 666. It falls today on Halloween, and it is their annual
Treehouse of Horror.
There we go. Thank you. I couldn't remember what it was called. So that's what's happened today. So it's a pretty big deal.
And who doesn't love The Simpsons?
Yeah, and it's also a milestone that I don't think any other TV show will ever hit.
And then it just so happened to land. Well, one, very few TV shows get to 666 episodes.
Yeah, 666.
And two, to have that fall on the spookiest of days.
With the spookiest of numbers.
I doubt a lot of TV shows could even get away with that.
What?
Because it's so demonic.
Yeah.
They'd be very hesitant, especially in America, for their patriotism to Christianity and stuff.
And Quinlan, do you have any spooky news for us?
I do. So we talked about queer music on last week's podcast episode, but I found a song yesterday, and it's by a prior member of Girls' Generation, which is a famous K-pop group, which is no longer together, sadly. Tiffany Young, she has a solo career, and she released a spooky song recently, and JJ hasn't heard it, so we shall show her a bit of the song.
JJ, your facial expression as you're looking at it.
Run for your, run for your
Run for your life.
Where's the Halloween tie into this song?
I don't know, I think the electronic sounds quite spooky, and it gives me electronic horror vibes. And plus saying run for your life kind of sounds creepy to me.
That could be run for your life, you're going to get robbed. Do you know what I mean?
That's everyone's favorite topic of songwriting.
Getting robbed.
Get the fuck out of here. You're going to get robbed, dude.
I don't know if I would say it was a Halloween theme.
I don't think it's specifically Halloween, but it's released in October, and it sounds quite it's not something I would hear on the radio and think it's a normal pop song.
If this was released in January and you heard it, would you think it's Halloween themed?
Well, it has to be released during Halloween for it to be
No,
considered
but
Halloween.
because you're saying because it's released in October, that's why
Well, I think that's why it's being released in October. I want more Asian representation in the music industry, so this spooky Korean-American woman doing her Halloween music has got me going.
And there really isn't that much crossover between Asian representation and Halloween, is there, Quinlan?
Japanese people love Halloween.
They do.
Yeah,
their horror movies are so good.
They are.
The Ring.
I don't really enjoy them that much, to be honest. They're very specific.
I agree with that. Japanese movies, when it comes to horror,
They are, yeah.
I can't.
Very innovative.
I can get through most American horror movies. I don't find them scary. I find Japanese movies to be terrifying.
They're too.
Even the ones that aren't meant to be scary. All their anime is terrifying.
Oh my
to
god,
me.
that's actually
all their
true.
mascots, everything has eyes in it. It's Jesus Christ, what's going on right now?
Did you get freaked out by Howl's Moving Castle?
I got confused more than anything.
Yeah, right.
Oh my gosh, I haven't seen that film.
You haven't seen it. It's very good.
I'm not a big fan of anime. I don't know why. I can't connect to the way they're presented.
I hate how they're drawings. I just don't want them to be drawings.
I think it's because I'm used to American style animation.
Yeah.
And the massive big eyes and the sexualization of children is not my favorite thing in the world. Anyway, that's not about Halloween.
This is completely unrelated. Wait, no, it is related. Yu-Gi-Oh! Yeah?
I hated that.
The original manga was a horror manga. I don't know how much you know about Yu-Gi-Oh!
Don't know much. Just know that they're cards.
When someone gets defeated in a battle, they go to the Shadow Realm. Right? That's an American edit. In the original manga and in the original show, they went to hell.
Oh my god.
People were just dying left and right constantly. People were getting shot. In the American release, they changed every time someone had a gun, they changed it into just their fingers pointing at them.
Oh wow. That's lame.
So Yu-Gi-Oh! Is fucking terrifying and creepy. Yeah.
Like most Japanese things.
Like most Japanese
That's really
things.
offensive.
But you don't like Japanese movies. Like Japanese
The
horror
horror
movies.
ones, I've tried to watch them, because a lot of them are quite old, the iconic ones, and they're a bit slow for me.
Yeah.
You know? I don't know.
I find that with all of the Universal monster movies, the OG.
Oh, Monster in the Blue Lagoon Monster, whatever it is.
Creature from the Blue Lagoon. I just finished watching Phantom of the Opera, the original one
Is that
from.
actually a horror film?
It goes for hours.
Right? It's 2 odd
haven't
hours,
seen it.
and I was so tired watching it.
Did
I
you
was
watch all of it?
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus, why?
But yeah, I get what you mean by slow.
Yeah.
Because you want the thrills, you want the slashes, you want the minute by minute action, the thrills.
Slashes aren't a big thing anymore, sadly. They were kind of like the early 2000s. They were doing all the remakes from the 80s horror movies. And then
You'd say that to Ryan Murphy, who's currently doing his American Horror Story
Ryan
series.
Murphy is not the best.
I love Ryan Murphy. I love all of his horror stuff. I like
You
American
love all
Horror
of
Story.
American Horror Story. Have you seen every
No.
single series?
Scream Queens.
Scream Queens is great.
Real good.
It's
But
coming back.
The first 3
Is it?
seasons were amazing of American Horror Story. Then after that, it just kind of didn't click for me anymore. Even the new season, it's not bad, but nothing kept me watching. I was just like, oh, I've missed 3 episodes now. Well, I'm done.
Quinlan, what kind of horror movies do you like then?
Oh, that's really hard to say. I think like it's progressed. Like when I was, because my love for horror movies started with Scream. And
Bad movie, but yeah.
Scream's amazing. Like looking back, it's not good, but like the way Wes Craven kind of set out the rules and like basically parodied horror movies without making it an actual parody, like a YouTube parody or something like that, was really innovative. I think was really like game changing for horror, because then no one could really follow those rules afterwards the same way. But that's where it started, and I loved like because we grew up in the era of remakes, I loved the horrible remakes, but looking back,
Yeah.
so bad. But I think I love art house horror,
Okay.
but like not obscure, like art house influence. So something like It Follows, which plays a lot with lighting and storylines, or like Black Swan is like a thriller.
Can we think of any other horror news for this day?
Apart from movies, not really. I haven't watched any of them.
Trump might win the election.
That's enough of a horror to end on.
There's enough political horror going on in the world right now. Like,
The spookiest way to end.
oh Jesus!
So ominous, he may win.
It's Quinlan's Queer Conundrum. My conundrum today on this spooktacular holiday is, why do gay people, or why does the queer community embrace Halloween so much?
And why is that, Quinlan?
Well, I was just thinking about why I loved Halloween, and obviously, like, I like horror movies, but also, I feel like dressing up and getting all like glamorous isn't something that gay people can usually do without being ridiculed, or doing it within a queer space. And so Halloween is the one day and night where we can go out in the streets, go clubbing, like even go shopping in like some glamorous outfit without looking like an outcast, basically. Because our community loves dressing up, being in bright colors, dyeing our hair, wearing contacts, all those things. And we can do that freely.
And did you feel that way growing up, Quinlan? Did you feel liberated by Halloween?
I did, yeah. I love dressing up. Like, so many drag queens started on Halloween. Like, when you watch RuPaul's Drag Race, like, a lot of the queens admit, like, oh, like, my boyfriend put me in Halloween, in drag, sorry, or I just thought it'd be fun, and then it starts out as a career-building thing. And I was definitely that kid who liked playing around with the idea of being more feminine. Like, I used to dress in my mum's clothing and, like, get her makeup and put it on. And, yeah, I think it's fun to play with the idea of femininity and being queer, because we push those boundaries so much.
Did you ever do that in your Halloween costumes?
I did dress up as Nicki Minaj once. I didn't do blackface. I did not do blackface. I just had I got not helium balloons. I blew up balloons and had big boobs, and I made myself a big button. I wore leopard print and had a pink wig because I loved Nicki Minaj when I was a teenager.
But no, that sounds like a reasonable explanation for why gays love the Halloween.
I actually researched as well because there was more of a reason, and this explains why it's also been so Americanized. So before the queer community, or I guess specifically the gays in this instance, went to Castro, which is the gay area in San Francisco, which is like world renowned now. But it was actually a family area, and there was a specific children's Halloween costume pageant during, obviously, Halloween. But then gay men started to move into the area, and slowly drag queens started their own pageant. Or they were, I think it was alongside the children's pageant. So then the families felt alienated by the gays and left that area. And so then from there, the gays infiltrated Castro, and it's been massive in San Francisco ever since.
Wait, what has?
Halloween, like specifically Castro, they had the biggest Halloween parade there.
Why did they
That's
start their own thing?
Well, when I read the article, they didn't actually say if it was with the current costume pageant or if it was separate, but it's a children's costume pageant, so I'm just assuming that it was separate, because I don't think grown men dressed up as women is something that they'd really let happen, especially in the 70s, like a really conservative time. But yeah.
I also wonder if, because Halloween, scary movies, they're always about outcasts and
Yeah, that's
weirdos
the
and
other
odd
reason.
people, like whether people just like
And they turn into murderers.
exactly.
Wait, Where is this going?
Every slasher film ever.
Yes. Do you think that has anything to do with it? Why queer people like
Oh, yeah,
Halloween
because
horror movies?
we always relate to the monsters. And I don't think the murderers, I hope not. It's more the monsters.
Jeffrey Dahmer?
We definitely... Oh,
Ted
my
Bundy.
God. Oh, my. Please, no. Yeah, but everyone's getting murdered usually, actually. So we should relate to the victims.
And I think it probably also has something to do with how camp most horror
Exactly,
movies are.
yeah.
Like, there is something about camp that gays love. And horror movies are the campiest of things. They're so low budget, like you were saying, JJ. They're so cheap and
Outrageous,
nasty.
yeah.
And yet people treat it so seriously. They take it like, yes, this is going to be my greatest work ever. And then it comes out and people are laughing at it while also being scared of it.
Yeah.
And there is something just like ridiculous about it that gays love.
I think also the horror community has always been on the sidelines of the film industry. And I feel like that's the same way that gays feel with society in general. I mean, that's why horror can get away with being so campy, because it is outcast already. So it's not a
Yeah.
big risk. Like,
And who doesn't love seeing the straights murdered?
true. Gay people are never in horror movies now when I think about it.
JJ, your reaction. No, but I mean, like, you know how, like,
That was just not something I thought was going to come up in the convo.
I love it.
you know how in a lot of like slasher films,
It's
especially,
like, yeah.
you can't have sex because as soon as you have sex,
You
boom,
die.
you're dead.
The other reason I think that gay people love Halloween is because it's one of the only holidays that isn't connected to religion, specifically.
Paganism.
But it's not like Christian, like it's
Celtic.
not wholesome, you know what I mean? Even Thanksgiving, it's not like religious, but it's still connected to like, well, it is actually kind of racist, so we don't really want to.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, so it's like one of the only holidays that isn't like directly connected to like religion and being wholesome, you know? And that's why it's gay Christmas.
Because it's designed for you to be terrifying
Yeah, and also sexy now.
and sexy. All of the sexy costumes.
Gays love being slutty. But we love Halloween. Free expression, drag queens, horror movies,
all that good jazz.
queer villains.
Well, actually, guys, I fell down a rabbit hole this week.
I know exactly where this is going.
Or, like, mostly the last 48 hours have just been a whirlwind for me. 1313 movies.
Oh, God.
Do we know what these are?
Dino, for the dear listener who doesn't know what 1313 movies are, what are
Is
they?
this the thing you talked about last night?
Yes, it
Oh,
is.
Gosh.
So, for those of you who are painfully unaware, as I was mere hours ago, 1313 movies. So there is a director by the name of David Dakota, okay? He is one of those incredibly prolific B-movie directors, yeah? He has directed, in the past 25 years, 90 movies.
90.
90 movies.
90.
90
That's
movies.
insane.
Okay? 3.5 movies a year.
That's a lot.
A lot of movie, yeah? So he started off as a production assistant on B movies in the 1980s when he was 18 years old. He just decided to, fuck it, I'm going to go and make B movies, yeah? And he was working in, you know, that golden age of like video on demand, like when Blockbuster was thriving and they had direct-to-video movies.
That's
yeah?
definitely the golden age of cinema.
Exactly. And so he was working on those productions. Yeah, cheap, nasty, and just get as many of them as you possibly can. He was trying to figure out like where is the gap in the market. Yeah. And he thought that most of these horror movies were for men, right? They were designed and marketed for other men.
Oh.
Yeah. He thought, what about the women's? What about the gay men's? They need movies as well.
Did he specifically say gay men?
No, but he's gay. Started off in 2011, went all the way through to 2012. There are 14 of these movies. They're amazing. 14 movies in 2 years is a lot to do. So what he did was he filmed all of them in the same fucking mansion, okay? He invented a whole new genre called boxer brief horror. Instead of sexy women who get murdered, it's now a bunch of sexy men in briefs and Speedos get murdered.
Sounds amazing.
It's amazing, okay? They have titles like 1313, Wicked Stepbrother.
These sound like porn titles.
They do. 1313, Giant Killer Bees. 1313, Cougar Cult, right? They keep going on and on and on. They're horror fused with like softcore porn. You never see anything. It's
Wait,
not
is it
explicit.
guy on guy?
Yes.
Ooh.
There's no like, it's not porn.
Oh.
Like, there's nothing explicit, but it's like it verges so
Do they
close
kiss
to
each
it.
other and stuff?
There are some films where they do.
That's cool. I like that idea. I wish he had executed it better, though, because we have seen a trailer and it was terrible.
The movies themselves are trash, right? Pure and simple,
Let's
but like,
not tag him in this podcast.
but good fucking trash, right? Like, again, peak
Good
camp.
trash.
It's the
Yes.
creme de la creme of garbage.
Yes. So like, if you are in the mood for like horror that isn't that scary and also features lots of naked guys who can't act, this is your like particular niche in like one set of films. 1313. They are like, the guys are incredibly beautiful. They're all like jocks.
I'm guessing they're white and muscular.
Yes. So again, they're all in the same mansion. They all make terrible excuses to go and jump in the pool constantly and like get wet. They have these incredibly explicit shower scenes where they just cut right up above the waist just so you can't see anything.
Oh.
And there are these like, they've always got older women who have been in older horror movies come back as like the main villain in the pieces.
That's so cool.
And they're just like long sequences of them just staring at the guys. It's
Oh, so they're like, it's like the male gaze. He kind of sounds like a bootleg version of Ryan Murphy.
Yes, basically.
Oh my god.
I watched one in preparation for this. It was called...
Don't say it was in preparation for this. You wanted to watch it on your own accord.
Oh my gosh.
It was called 1313 UFO Invasion.
Oh, gee.
It's about this guy who goes to New Mexico and wants
Area
to...
51.
Area 51, exactly. No, not Area 51. He wants to go to Roswell, where the UFO invasion was, and he's got this incredibly specific degree that's about like human alien things. Anyway, while he's off trying to find the aliens, the house that he's renting from is owned by an alien. Okay,
Oh my.
and she does all these experiments on the boys, and so like boy after boy keeps arriving late to the house, and she eventually like kidnaps them, ties them up in the bed, and then injects them with some serum where they just like turn into controlled versions of themselves, and she commands them. It's fucking
Is
great.
she dressed up as an alien?
No, she's just a regular
That's
human
so
being,
boring.
but she's got a lab coat on, so you know.
What's the budget of these films?
These films have no budget. It's the same. The house that they're using is just the director's friend's house that they rented for he directed a film in 3 days.
I would not want to be on the cast or crew for that.
I'm gonna say crickets right now.
I want to read
Please
I
don't.
want to read one of the quotes from it. So obviously he's thinking the entire time about money, right? He wants to make as much money as you possibly can from these. So in the same way that
Obviously, with the amount of movies he's pushing out, money is definitely the end goal here. It's not an Oscar or an Academy Award.
God.
So in the same way that you were saying, JJ, about the peak blockbuster age where they just had trash films and they just want to release it with as many as you possibly can, he's today's version of it for streamers. He's designed all these films to be as watchable as possible, as just
But
findable
they
as possible.
ain't.
So just think about the branding itself, 1313. He chose that because when you search for an alphabetical list of all the movies,
It'll come up first.
it'll come up first
It's
because
a
it's
number.
numbers and it's the number one. Yeah,
Smart.
he's got the thumbnails that you see for each of these movies are just a bunch of naked boys against a UFO or a haunted house. So he wants
Is he making money?
yes.
Well,
Really?
he must be if he's making this many movies.
Yeah.
There must be some type of money being
Profit,
made.
yeah.
Can I just give you?
I do like the idea of it. I do wish it was executed
It's just like
better.
fast food cinema.
Yeah, basically.
So when asked how he got this idea of targeting horror movies at women, basically, he's had this quote: "Titanic became the highest-grossing movie of all time, and the media said that was because teenage girls saw it 50, 60 times. So I thought, why not make a horror movie for the same audience? This was just me being pragmatic. It was not me trying to get my own personal agenda in there. No, it was really more of a dollar and cents thing." So he's explicitly saying Titanic influenced him
Oh,
to make
God.
these fucking
To make naked
softcore porn.
Yeah.
I like that he's honest.
Yeah.
Exactly. He's not bullshitting with you. This is not an artistic statement. This is him. He wants to make fucking moolah, okay?
Yeah.
So he's having these barely actors. I feel for them. They're not very good actors, but they're trying their fucking hardest. And the
They
movies
might as
aren't
well
very
be
good.
doing porn.
Most of the shots are just them walking through hallways for a really long time. It's bad, but it's also really good.
It really does sound like American Horror Story, like Scream Queen kind of stuff. Just
Yes.
less complex.
And less fun. Like less, like it's campy, but not like,
Yeah.
it's not like haha.
They didn't really dress up the house or give them cool
No.
costumes.
No, they're in board shorts for most of it or Speedos. There are very few scenes where they're fully clothed.
When you showed us the trailer, I swore it was like porn.
Yes.
They
thought it was
they
porn
took
as
out
well.
the sex for like YouTube or something. Is there blood and gore?
No. They
Wait,
couldn't afford it,
the
mate. They
fuck?
had a budget and they had a time restriction. There ain't time for fucking blood.
It's like a psychological thriller. It gets into your mind. You don't need to see the blood to
when
know
I
that it's
was like
spooky.
14, I would make horror films with gore.
The scariest
How
thing
come-
is what's inside your noggin right
That's
here.
right. We're not all Quinlan Tarantino over here at 14. Got a whole production
I
going.
once filled a balloon with red dye, put a wig on it, did the camera angle from behind and threw a rock on it.
And that's
So
how he
it
won his
exploded.
Academy Award.
Yes. Didn't you know I'm famous? I don't even know what I'm doing here.
I don't see your 60 films a year, mate.
I think that's a good thing.
You know what? You got to be kind of proud of that.
Yeah, I would absolutely be proud of this thing, man.
Like, not many people can say that they've made that many.
And so many of them. He invented a whole genre. I'm now a fan of 1313.
Did you pay to watch the film?
Fuck no.
Then you ain't a real fan.
It's so
I
good.
don't know he's talking about, but he's like, no.
I didn't pay.
They're so good though. Like, honestly,
Can you watch them for free on YouTube?
no.
Oh, well.
You can see all the trailers.
So you pretty much watched the entire movie in a minute.
Exactly, yeah.
Oh, wait, you haven't seen the film. How do you watch it without paying?
I've got my ways,
Don't
mate.
incriminate him like that.
Oh my god. 1, 2, 3 movies.
If you get Amazon Prime, you can watch
Ugh.
them.
I used to have Amazon Prime.
Exactly.
I missed out.
You missed out on 1313. Thank you for listening to us this week. It has been 2.5 Gays, the all-inclusive podcast for the modern-day millennial queen. You can find us on iTunes and the Spotify and our YouTube channel. Woo! Follow us on Instagram at
2 half gays.
and on Facebook at
2.5 gays.
acing it today. I have been one of your hosts, Dino.
I am Quinlan.
And I'm JJ.
Stay spooky.
Thank you next.